All right, let's get into it. My co-host today is Sanu. She's a track and field athlete at the University of Arkansas. Her stats say one thing, but trust me, after this episode, you're going to know a whole lot more about Sanu. So without further ado, welcome to co-hosted. Sanu, you have the keys.
Hey guys, I'm Sanu Jallow-Lockhart. I go to the University of Arkansas. I run track here. I run the 800. Let's get the show going.
All right. So I got to pull up my notes here again because I was at the bottom there. But yeah, we want to start off with like a personal question. So we won't go too hard into your past right now, but like, what is like who is Sanu outside of the track? Right? Like, what is your typical day at the University of Arkansas? And then, like, what do you do outside to just kind of cool down and calm down?
Um, I don't really do much. I kind of spend a lot of time inside. Outside of track, usually because I'm a senior, classes are like pretty chill this year. So pretty much, on Mondays and Wednesdays, I have class in the morning and then I go to practice at 1 and got a class at 3. And that's kind of like a regular day. And on Tuesdays, I go to weight test 7 a.m. And then, I have class at 12:30 and then practice at 2:30. But other than that, it's pretty chill. On the days that I don't have class or practice, kind of just like sleep in and then get breakfast and hang out with my family and then just I have a cat named Kenzo and I spend time with him a lot and then just go get treatment and pretty much just chill, kind of like the laziest athlete you ever meet.
What's your degree in?
Sports management.
Okay. Yeah, what classes are you taking this semester? So I'll give you a background. My senior year, I took
Yeah.
guitar lessons, I took swimming, I took CrossFit, and then
So
I
a bunch
had
of electives, basically like fun
yeah, I was a
stuff.
political science major. I had a scholarship from the government. I had to have
Yeah.
12 hours to be full time, but I only needed
Oh
6 to
wow.
graduate. So like
Gotcha.
I was completely just blowing it off. But like, what are the classes that you're in right now?
I'm in like PR and business analytics and I can't remember the other classes honestly. It's just mostly like business related classes, honestly.
Yeah, but
If I'm being honest,
senioritis is definitely set in right now.
I'm
Like I
literally
feel
counting
that.
down the days as we go down.
Okay, so now, you have a very interesting personal story. I don't know if our audiences went into it, or like knows as much about it, but you
Hmm.
came over to the States at 9 years old. You had to learn
Yep.
English, and that was in North Carolina. But the one thing I couldn't get down is like, hey, you got adopted, so can you talk about like your adopted parents, like how that process was, how coming to the States was, like, can you give like more of a background on that?
Oh yeah. I came here to stay. I came to the states at the age of 9. My adopted parents actually were my high school coaches. So I started running track when I went in ninth grade, and I was just kind of like grew that bond with them, and they were my coaches at the time, but I found myself like hanging with them all the time, like taking trips, going to the AAU meets and going to Florida, spending Thanksgiving, Christmas, and, just regular vacation times with them. So it kind of, was just like I had this opportunity. I was really good at track, because all of my brothers, like, they started off running track, but then, they transitioned to football. So two of my brothers are actually at Jackson State right now. One's a quarterback and the other one's a wide receiver. And I have my younger brother that's in high school here. And yeah, so I just spending a lot of time with them. So we just kind of like all sat down, and my biological dad and my adopted parents just sat down and was like, hey, like, let's see how far, Sanu can go with this. So we just kind of made a point where like to just kind of go with my coaches at the time that are my parents and just went from there.
Okay. And then, I have a military background,
Uh
so
huh.
that's why I'm curious. I seen out there that your dad was in the military. Is that your biological father? Is that your adopted?
That's my adopted dad. Yes.
Okay. Do you
Yep.
know what like rank he got out of the military as?
Uh, that's a good question. I know it was high, but I don't know how high we're
Yeah,
talking.
because I'm just curious. Like, he was a coach, so I'm assuming he was
Yeah.
very much on you. But I didn't know how much that affected. Because there's a couple other athletes we have that have a military background, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm always curious how that, as a parent, influenced the kid, right, to go and be disciplined, or how that
Yeah. No,
factored in.
it's kind of like the best of both worlds, because some people always ask, like, as like having a parent that's also your coach, like how do you balance those? And I feel like my parents did a pretty good job. I mean, sometimes it does conflict where it's like, okay, you're at home and the track hat is still kind of on a little bit, you're just like, okay, chill, like we're at home now. But I think my parents did a pretty good job actually balancing both. It was just like, when we're at home, it was, mom and dad time and loving or whatever. But when we're on a track, it's like, okay, nah, I can't do that. I can't love on you the way I used to. I gotta put the track hat on, and then just, So I feel like they did a pretty good job balancing both hats. So.
And then you're learning English. You talked about on a different podcast like your 4 languages. I know you have your native tongue, you have English. I'm assuming one of the other ones is probably French.
No, I don't know how to speak French anymore because I had to give that up to learn English. But I speak 4 languages, and the other 2 are also like native languages back home, but they aren't my native languages. It's just the language that I speak based upon like being around the other kids. So I speak English, and then my native language for my place is called Fula. And then I speak Wolof and Mandingo, which is like the other tribal languages of like the people that I was around all the time.
Right, and then now I wanted to transition. That was kind of the transition piece, because I want to talk about the Olympics, right? Because that's huge, I'm jealous. Like that's awesome. I know that's like the pinnacle for any track athlete. And being able to go and compete in the Olympics, talking about speaking French and then going over to France, like that's kind of where the transition was. But if you want to just talk about, how it was being in the Olympics, like were there other idols or like people you could bounce ideas off of as like track athletes that you might have used this year going into this season or the season after that? But if you want to just talk about that.
Going to the Olympics was such an amazing experience because I always had the dream of going to the Olympics, and I was like, okay, but because when I was younger, if I wasn't really, yes, I ran track and I was fast, but I was like a soccer kid, so I never really thought that I was going to go to the Olympics for track. I was a big Alex Morgan fan, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to meet her one day. I'm going to be on the same team as her, So it was just that, but coming to Arkansas and just being able to see my dreams come to reality was just such a shocking thing, especially like going to the Olympics. It was just such because like when I got there, like my parents made everything happen for me. They were the ones that did the paperwork, reached out to the countries, and they did everything that they needed to do. I was just here. I don't know.
That was going to be my follow-up question. Was how, because you went for Gambia, right? You weren't as the United States citizen. So I've always been curious, like when, people with dual ethnicity or dual like nationalities, like how they go and compete for those other countries when they're somewhere else. So they had to file paperwork, I'm assuming?
So I have dual citizenship, so I can go either way, U.S. or home country, and we decided to go home country just because my mom is like really big on like not forgetting where I'm from and always just like following, just letting like allowing myself to represent my country and just showing that side of me to the world, but also just putting them on the map. But so we decided to go with Team Gambia, but also like it was a lot of paperwork. Like I would definitely say like I didn't see it until it was like explained and done, but it was a lot of struggle that went behind that, but they were able to get it done. So when it was finally done and it's like, like Sanu was representing Team Gambia, and I was like, yeah, but it was actually super, super fun. When we got to the Olympics, I got there like 2 weeks, I want to say, before the actual the game started because they wanted us to like adjust. But it was super cool, like seeing the people that you look up to on TV, like all these different celebrities, and just like the people that you really never thought you would be in the same room. And then the ceremony came where like all the different like places and countries get together, and then you see like for the first time I'm looking at LeBron and I'm looking at Steph Curry, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually in the same room with all these people. And it's just like going to different like events and just being in the same room with everybody, it just kind of motivates you to want to do better for yourself and want to do more. And I know that a lot of my teammates and other Razorbacks were also there, and it was just like, oh my god, we're here together, like we're enjoying our time. So it was really such a fun experience.
For sure. I can only imagine. Now, there's one question I have because I feel like everyone wants to know, but I'll ask one first. How was Paris? Like, what's your thoughts on Paris? I've been before, and as an American in Paris, right? Like, they don't like Americans for some reason. People tell me the trees that line the streets are to, shade German soldiers when they march and not actually for the people of Paris. But how was your thoughts on Paris?
I liked it. Obviously, like there are little kind of pros and cons on what people say, like, oh my god, it's the city of love, or like this place. I was like, oh, okay. I went there and I was just like, it's pretty once you like, get out and like actually go to like the places that you want to see, or when you go shopping and stuff. But there are some other places that are like very questionable. Like, oh, do I need to be out here? Do I need to be safe? Like this guy walked up to me and was like, because I had my bag, and he was like, I would like switch the bag around, put the bag in front of you because people steal and always tend to snatch. I was like, oh, this is different.
But honestly, Texas, like, North Carolina, or Arkansas, you're in a big city.
No, for real. But honestly, like, it was such a good experience. Like, I liked it. I guess, like, I was just enjoying it because it was a new place that I've never been to, and it's kind of one of the places I wanted to go to. It's on my bucket list. So I was like, okay. So me and my friend Rachel, we made, like, the best of it. After we were done competing, we were like, forget it, let's go, explore. Let's go see what Paris is about. We did get lost on the first day when we went shopping. We got directions to go on a train, and then we got on the train, and then we couldn't find our way back. So we went to this like place that had all these different buses and stuff, and we like begged this guy to just like drive us back to the Olympic Village, and he was like, oh no, I can't. And we were like, oh, we're new here, we're lost. So he ended up just driving us back on this big empty bus, and he was like, this never happened. I was like, yeah, you're right.
That's an interesting story that a lot of people don't have, but I'm glad you brought it up because the one thing I wanted to get into was the Olympic Village, right? So everybody's always hearing the crazy stories about the Olympic Villages. I'm not going to say necessarily what happened, but there was an epidemic at the Winter Olympics this year because they ran out of a certain thing. So, like, how is that the truth of the Olympic Village? Like, is that, like go into that?
I don't think we had that problem. If I'm being honest, that we did not have that problem because that's not something that, like, we heard or anything. But in the Olympic Village, it was actually, like, people, like, there was a lot of controversy going into the Olympics because they wasn't sure, like, if they were going to fit a lot of people there or if everything was going to be organized. But actually, they actually pulled everything off pretty well. They had different, like, places, like different villages for different countries and stuff. So they'll put, like on my side, we had a lot of the African places, and then we had Great Britain with us, and like Germany, and all the other places. And on the other side, they had like Jamaica, they had Ireland, they had all the different, and then they had USA, and everybody was kind of split up, but we all come together. So because some places are kind of far apart, they had shuttles going like in different places. So where I was, it was all the way on the other side. So I had to take a shuttle if I wanted to go see like some of my friends from here, and I would just have to shuttle. They would have to shuttle, and we just kind of go back and forth. And then they had like different stations for like food where you can go sign your name on the big like Olympic rings and stuff. And then they had coffee shops, and then they had like a barber shop in there, and then they had clinics where you can, like, if it's for personal reasons or you just want to go in there just to get a massage or get treatments or whatever. And then I don't know if you know, but at one point this chocolate muffin was a viral thing at the Olympics. Like, everybody was super obsessed with this chocolate muffin, and different people were trying it to see like, oh, like, is this really like crazy? So I don't know if you know about it, but it was like all over TikTok, and people were just trying it, and it just went viral.
See, my experience during the Olympics was I was in the middle of Jordan trying to do humanitarian aid to Gaza, or I was in Kuwait somewhere. So like I didn't get to enjoy that summer, so I was kind of not on the internet a lot.
Yeah,
But
no,
I did hear
that
stuff.
chocolate muffin went viral.
So I heard the beds, right? Like the beds were made out of like cardboard and there was no AC. Is that true?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. That was a struggle. They had like the ACs were definitely a struggle because it was so hot and it was kind of a struggle where they had the AC like hanging on the window and you had to like kind of function it. And the beds were super hard because they are made out of cardboard. Like the whole entire bed is cardboard, literally. And so your feet are hanging off, kind of, sort of, and but they had this spot where you can like go and I don't know if you like been to a mattress store where they had like the different like the Tempur-Pedic beds and stuff where they'll be like, oh, if you switch it on this side, you get better comfort. So they were just trying to show us like how you can basically part your bed in three ways to get comfortable, or if you like your bed a little bit like really squishy or modern or whatever. So it was a struggle. A lot of people, like a lot of celebrities, and ended up actually getting a hotel to stay out of the village, to actually just be comfortable. So yeah.
right. Which is probably why they didn't have the same issue as the Winter Olympics, because I couldn't imagine them trying to do anything on a cardboard bed. But how tall are you? Like, because you said your feet were hanging off.
Yeah,
Like
I'm 5'9".
5'9".
So
Okay,
imagine
we're
like
about
the
the same
basketball
height.
players.
Yeah, like if we're having problems with our feet hanging off, could you imagine LeBron on a cardboard bed?
And bro,
Like these are
it's
like the
like
biggest,
it's like having
densest
him like this,
people.
and all the legs are just hanging out the whole time.
That's I can't get over that. So you told me before that this year you tried out or you participated with the cross country team too, right?
Yes.
Okay, like you can't find that online, so I was like, did this happen? Like, can you talk about? Because I went from just doing track to having to do cross country. It's
Yeah.
completely different. Like you're used to like 800 meters, and like once you're done, you're done. And now you're having to go for a 5K, right?
Yeah.
So can you
Or
explain?
6K.
Okay, or the 6K. So
Yeah.
do you want? Well, women, what do y'all race at for as far as like the championship?
6K.
Okay, so the 6K.
Yeah.
Can you just go into that, like how that happened, like what was the different in training? Because I'm sure some track athletes are going to watch this and be like, oh crap, you transitioned. Like you're not just a short distance athlete. You're an incredible athlete that can do it miles on end. So
No, it's crazy. This was my first time actually doing cross country collegiately. So I was like, okay, like obviously, like I've always had the speed and the endurance, but I wanted to get super strong. Like I wanted to be very, very strong and sustain for a long time. So it was like, I went to my coach, was like, hey, I want to run cross country. At first he was hesitant about it. He was like, oh, I don't think that's a good idea. And I was like, listen, I can do it. Like, So, we went into it and I got in with the cross country girls and they were like, oh shoot, like Sanu's here. She's going to do this. And the coach at first, the cross country coach, Coach Burns, like he's such a good coach. And he was just like encouraging the whole time. And, he was just telling me, okay, just take it easy, just kind of find your way into it. They're used to this already. But my mindset is like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be known as, oh, Sanu's just doing cross country to try to get fit for track. Like, I want to compete with everybody. I want to be like I want to be in there with everyone.
you got that dog in you,
Yeah, So that transition, it was kind of hard. I'm not going to lie. The mileages are definitely different from track. We run like 2-3 miles, easy pace. Okay, call it a day. These girls are going we're going 50 miles per week, possibly more. Like the other girls are going by like 70 to 100 miles a week. And I'm just like, dude, this is a lot. But, I started off low. And then, even that, I was just like, is it time to quit yet? I can't quit. So I got to keep going. The workouts are definitely like harder because it's more distance based. So like repeat Ks or repeat mileage or, it's not as fast as like the 800 workouts that I do with Coach Johnson, but they are a lot more, they're longer and they require a lot more like intense, like rest and stuff like that. So that transition, it was just kind of like, it was tough. I was like, I don't know. This is kind of different than what I'm used to, But the more and more like I kept going with it, and then they made it fun. Like it wasn't like, oh, we were just running around just all silent and quiet. Like, the girls made it fun, and they made it like super warming, and like they just made it to a point where like we can kind of enjoy ourselves and die at the same time. So it was just kind of like, especially on the days that we had like the 10 repeat Ks, and in early in the morning having to wake up and do mileage, and then sometimes we worked out twice a day. So I was just like, this is definitely different. But yeah, that I told him, I said, honestly, like, kudos to you guys. Like, I have so much more respect for the girls that do long distance and cross country than I've ever had, because I don't know, after like the cross, like after my first 5K, I felt so good. I was like, oh, I got this. And then my body just went into a complete shot. Like, I don't know, I just passed out. Like, I went to sleep. I did not wake back up till we got to our destination.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
It was cool.
Yeah. Like on the track, right, there's no hills. And
no.
Up there in Fayetteville, I got to run that race one time, and it's a lot of hills. You don't think, it's out on the agricultural farm, like you're not thinking anything, and then it's like, it is like rolling hills.
No, seriously.
It's just a different kind of pain. Did you ever get to compete? Like, did you?
Yeah, I actually competed. I competed from the first meet all the way down to SECs. So my last meet was SECs, and because I got hurt, like around my knee, my IT band, I just wasn't getting better. So the coach decided to shut me down, cause like I couldn't like extend my legs, so I couldn't actually like get out and actually run. So he was like, oh yeah, we're done. So I wasn't able to compete at regionals, which sucked, but they held their own and they got it done. So
for sure, and for the viewers that don't know, like not going from running any cross country at any collegiate level to like going to one of the best programs in the country, like that's impressive. Like hands like that's pretty tough.
No, for real.
So I guess we're gonna try to transition this more to like the NIL discussion, current events in college sports.
Mm-hmm.
Choose Arkansas. We got to talk about that. So one thing that's very intriguing, and a lot of the people that I've had on the show so far we've talked about, but can you keep going to the transfer portal, right? Like you were at A&M. I listened to like the Bo Mattingly Hog podcast. You talked about like why you left, but my question, or more I think for the audience, is when you went into the transfer portal, did you know like, hey, I'm going to Arkansas, or was it like back to recruiting where people were reaching out to you? Like what was the process like entering the transfer portal? Like kind of that stuff.
Yeah, so I loved A&M. A&M has I'm an Aggie by heart. A&M has my heart. I will go back and
say that on here. You can't say that on here.
But honestly, like the school itself was great. The program, the track program, well, my program just wasn't working for me. And honestly, like when we decided to get into the portal, it was more so like I knew I wanted to go to Arkansas, like that my heart was set on like, oh, I'm gonna be a Razorback, like I'm gonna do everything I can to be a Razorback. So yes, in my heart I knew that I was coming to Arkansas. But again, you have to kind of go through that process of like if they already have recruits, if they're already like out of money or stuff like that. So it was kind of like back to square one, where you kind of had to play like you're back in high school, where you're getting recruited and you're just looking at different options. But luckily, like Coach Johnson, like when we reached out, like he was interested, so it was kind of like an instant, So he came to my house for a house visit, and from there it was kind of just let's get the ball rolling, because I didn't come on a visit at all. I just came.
But I bet that was scary, right? So, like, were you scared at all entering the portal? Like, hey, this might not work out, and I'm going to have to go somewhere else? Like, what was it like, hey, when you entered the portal, what did your coaches say at A&M? Like, was it like, oh, we don't want you anymore? It's like, hey, we're going to do the best for you as an athlete because this is the best move for you as a person?
Well, I got into the portal the day after Outdoor Nationals. Like, for example, Outdoor Nationals was today. Well, it's like today was the last day. We went back to A&M. The next day I told him, hey, like I went to his office, like, hey, like, the talk of like, I appreciate everything you've done for me. I enjoy being here, but it's time to go. Obviously that's not what I said, but but I want to say he was a little supportive. He was just really angry initially because I was leaving and that just wasn't on his on his bingo board of Sanu leaving. And he was a little disappointed, but and then he was making phone calls everywhere. I went to compliance the same like right after I left his office, and he called the compliance office like, "Can you guys please try to convince her to stay?" So it was, it was a bittersweet moment. I didn't want to leave A&M, but at the same time, it was like it was a move that had to get done.
Right. And he didn't, A&M, otherwise known as ATM, he didn't try to bring out the big bag of cash and be like, what's it going to take to stay here?
No, they did. They tried. They tried to
Oh,
talk to everybody they could to try to convince me to stay. On my visit, they actually brought when I was we're getting recruited out of high school. They actually brought the one person that I looked up to. At the time, she went to A&M. Her name is Athing Mo. And they like I didn't know she was like still there because this was I think it was like over like some kind of break or whatever, and I didn't know like she was gonna be at the dinner or know was she gonna be my host with her friends. And I just show up to dinner and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of seats for just us. And there she goes, she's like showed up and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like they're trying to really seal this deal. So no, they tried everything that they could, but
right.
it was just time.
'Cause I feel like this dagger in the heart for like their perspective that you went to
Yeah.
Arkansas, right? It's not that
Hmm.
you were leaving, you were gonna go leave and you're gonna compete against them, and y'all dominated them, right?
Yeah.
Um, so can you talk about get back to like more NIL, like what the structure was like for that at A&M, and then can you compare it to that of Arkansas, like where you're at funding wise and
Obviously, A&M is an oil school, so it's a little different than Arkansas. They have a lot more than Arkansas does, but I can't really say. I know they have a lot of money. They definitely do. Compared to here, I would say that it's just a little different. I'm just being honest, but I couldn't really tell you about the NILs because at the time we weren't really talking about NIL, or nor did I know much about NIL, so I didn't really ask questions about it, nor did I was interested in what that was. To be completely honest,
like
so
as far as rev share, did you get, or were you just on A&M? Were you just on scholarship? Were you getting a little money too to come? And then at Arkansas, are you on a full scholarship? And then is there any like revenue sharing as far as the track program goes? Because I know some of our listeners are just kind of curious, like where the split is of rev share and where all it goes.
yeah, no, I was on a full scholarship at A&M, and then like obviously they have like if you do good in like conference or nationals or whatever they wanted to this is incentive to be, then they choose what that is, and for that like they kind of just give us more money to our scholarship or more in your pocket. Arkansas here, I am on a full scholarship. And we do like I think they also do the same thing where it's just like because I got Scholar of the Year last year, so I don't know if that plays into like me getting extra like more added to my scholarship because of that, and then like basically maxing me out on my scholarship on like both sides, and then just going from there.
Okay. All right. So now the thing that, I really want to, get into is the games because that's my favorite part of the show. And we kind of talked about it, right? So I heard you. I listened to the podcast. You're like, I didn't know what an Arkansas was before I came to Arkansas, right?
I didn't.
So, it's like I feel like Americans get crapped on all the time for not knowing geography, but we're gonna try it. So
Oh
the
God.
the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna draw. All right. So Sanu, you're gonna draw the United States. I'm gonna draw Africa on the whiteboard behind me, and then we're gonna compare and see which one's better. All right. So if you think you're ready, we'll get to it.
I'm ready.
Okay. I gotta get my marker here.
I'm scared.
Oh my.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. fans got to see how I drew my Africa.
Uh-oh.
And don't forget Alaska, Hawaii.
You want me to draw all that?
Hey, I'm sorry that Africa is just so easy.
Oh! Okay, almost done. Hold on.
Like, I think the problem I have is that it's the mirroring is like reversing it, but
Yeah, it's okay. I know what you're trying to. I know what you're trying to write. I'm just trying to finish this out because I'm just like, you just put me on the spot here.
I did.
Okay. All right, I think I'm almost done with this. Okay, you better not laugh.
I'm probably gonna let that. You know, that's not bad if tectonic plates were flat on the East Coast, but you know, how do you think my Africa is?
You did good. You did good. You did good.
Now, whenever this streams, there will be actual photos on both sides of what they're supposed to look like, so the fans will be able to judge us a lot harder. So now we're going to transition to the second game. So the second game is I'll start off with a country in Africa, and then you have to give a state, and then whoever can't go anymore loses. Now, I see a little bit of flash on you right now. Let's not. We don't need to be looking up some states now.
I can't look up anything?
No, you can't look it up.
Okay, I'm done.
That's
you got me.
That's cheating.
I'm done. You got me.
All right, so I'll start it off. I'm gonna go with Gambia because that's an easy one. You're from Gambia.
So we just name and do we have to be in order? Or we just name something.
No, you're naming any state.
Okay, Cali.
Okay, she goes with California. I'm gonna go with Senegal.
Michigan.
All right, I'm gonna go with Egypt.
North Carolina.
Let's go with Morocco.
Iowa.
Ethiopia.
Georgia.
Sudan.
Texas.
South Sudan.
Nebraska.
Rwanda.
Why is my brain blank right now? Louisiana.
Ooh, South Africa.
Mississippi.
Djibouti.
What is that?
You don't know where Djibouti is? It's right by Yemen. It's right underneath another country that I'm saving to talk about.
Hold on, give me like, okay, give me a second. I'm thinking. Chicago.
Madagascar.
Washington.
Shoot. Now I'm on the spot.
Yeah, now you're stuck. That gives me time to think.
I've listed so many countries here. I gotta think. Oh.
Trying to see.
I don't think I've said Nigeria yet, so.
Okay. Dang, what the heck? Why am I stuck? What is going on? Hold on, it's too early. My brain is not functioning right now. Yeah, you got me.
Oh, look at that. So maybe Americans do know geography, right?
I think you cheated because I think you studied before me. So you put me on the spot.
I thought about it. I was like, I'm going to put the game, like, should I study it? And I was like, no. You know, I lived in the Middle East. I've lived in Europe. I remember what was around us, right?
That's not fair. You traveled more than I did.
Yeah, I've been to like 24 countries. I haven't been to Africa yet. It's on the list, but you know, I lived in like the Africa, Asia. They call it Asia. The Middle East is really Africa. There's no difference, but it's right there. So yeah, I might have had a little bit of experience up on you there, but you know,
it's okay. Next time we come back, I got you. Next time, right. I got you. Next time.
Well, I'll study up more because I think there might be more states than there are countries in Africa, so I might have to run out at some point.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to transition to our next game. Our next game is called Hot Takes, where the co-host gives a very honest opinion about whatever topic that I have and hopefully doesn't school it up. You're a senior, so hopefully you can be a little honest here.
I got you.
Okay. How do you feel track athletes are viewed on campus?
I'm going to give you my personal experience and my personal take. I feel like when people look at like track athletes or athletes in general, some people like love us, but some people like judge us a lot based upon the privileges that we have. Because I actually had a personal experience in class where like when we're competing, we have to be excused from class, you know, like so that we can have time to not miss anything or, you know, just have an extension on assignment. And so I had this one professor and she like hated athletes or had some kind of like personal vendetta against them or something. Like it went to a point where like I would come to class and I wouldn't wear like any like sports wear at all because I didn't want her to know that I was an athlete. Because she was just like, she just got mad one day and was like, oh, just because you're a student athlete doesn't mean you get privileges. You have to be treated the same way as everybody else. You don't get any special privileges just because you think that you're an athlete. And I'm just like, oh, wow. Like, you know. But I do think that a lot of people, like, support us, but a lot more people, like, criticize and judge us because they think that we're, like, spoiled brats or, like, snobby or we think that we're, you know, privileged and better than everybody, which is not true. I mean, for me at least, because heck, sometimes I don't want people to know that I'm a student athlete. I just kind of just want to function like a regular person, you know?
Right. Which is part of the point of the show is to give y'all or athletes an opportunity to come in here and talk more personally so people can see you differently than just talking about sport.
Yeah. I do feel like we're judged a lot because of, like, what we do, and they feel like not knowing what's going on behind the scenes, so they just think, like, oh, like, because they think that they're a student athlete, they think that they're better or they get like special treatment and stuff, not knowing that it's not about special treatment. It's the fact that like I'm literally having to do a little bit more than the average person to get to where we're at right now, you know? So it's just like, I just feel like sometimes we're a little bit judged before they talk to us and get to know like what's actually going on.
Yeah. I went to an NAIA school, right, where I ran track across country. So we had little vans, and you're driving to Illinois from Arkansas in a little bitty van, and, you know, you're excused from class, but you think I got any homework done on that trip? You know, I'm in some hotel, and, you know, I'm traveling, and, you know, I'm missing out on all the parties. You can't go party, which if you do, you're going to throw up a lot on the run. I've learned on experience, but that's what freshmen do. They make the stupid mistakes.
It's okay. You live and you learn.
I definitely thought that, like, from my perspective, I was thinking of it like an issue between athlete to athlete. I wasn't really thinking about professors and stuff, but, I mean, that brings up a good point, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like other athletes, like, when I was tracking cross country, they're like, well, that's not a sport. And I'm like, it's the original sport. Have you heard of the Olympics?
Yeah, I eat football players. They're like, oh, like, I'm faster than you. What's your 40 time? I don't run a 40, so I can't say that.
I calculated your 40, and I think it would be a 4.8 to a 5. So you could probably outrun every lineman on the team for sure. Exactly. But you're not training for that. You're training for a half mile, not for 100 meters. And
exactly.
Like, that training's completely different.
I actually did ask. I had a conversation with Danny Wheeler, because I have an internship with football right now, and I told him, I said, Danny, I actually think that your football players talk a lot of junk. So I think that we should day swap. Like, they do what we do and we do what they do. Like, you know, and let's see who who has the harder workouts.
Would you race one of the football guys?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're calling them out right now because I'll send it to them. I'll be like, who wants to race her? What are we? We're racing 100
right
meters.
Now. Matter of
100
fact,
meter?
if you know Quincy, Quincy, yeah, this is for him because he's always talking junk.
Man, Quincy Rhodes talking shit. I did not see that coming.
But yeah, I did tell. Yeah, so I did bring that up to Danny. I said, you know what? Let's have a day where they do what we do, and obviously, I know the pad, like us, we can't wear the pads and stuff because we're still in season, so we can't afford to get hurt. But let's do like other stuff that they do compared to like our workouts and see. It doesn't even have to be crazy workouts that we do. We can just give them an easy 200-day starter, and let's see how they get through that.
It ain't fun. I'm gonna tell you that. So.
Hey.
The next hot take, I think we kind of transition there. How should women's sports? Well, I mean, how should women's sports be funded? But I feel like there was a little bit of a women's sports viewed because I feel like some of the guys are like, "Well, you're a chick, you can't beat me," and that might fund it. But there's a lot of talk in the country about with private equity coming in, women's sports doesn't turn a profit. As a female athlete. Like, how do you feel that with the new era of NIL and like how revenue sharing is working? Like, how should women's sports be funded?
Okay. I think we should be funded pretty well. Obviously, like, okay, when it comes to, for example, basketball, like women basketball and men basketball, obviously. Men basketball is watched more than women's. So there are some things that women aren't going to win in. Football, baseball, basketball, it seems. But I feel like in certain areas that women are making a come up, i.e. track and field, women's basketball, like the Kaylin, was it Kaylin Clark? Yeah, I think her name is Kaylin Clark. And like injuries, them having that energy and just bringing the place up. And I feel, and like women's gymnastics is actually like coming up as well. So there are certain areas that I feel like women are working and trying to make a come up for for our new generation and just trying to make a peak and just put them out there. So when it comes to the pay, I do say that, I mean, it would be a stretch to say I wish that we would get paid the same as men, which I don't think is going to happen, but I feel like it should be close. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the question I was more asking is like from a revenue sharing standpoint, from like a university level, continuing to fund those sports, right? Because I feel like a lot of them just want to put the money in football, put the money in basketball, and just I mean, I think a lot of men's sports get left out too in that scenario because I mean, I think they look at track as a gender neutral term.
Yeah.
So my last hot take was thoughts about the Olympic Village, but we already covered that. So we'll transition to factor cap, which is I'm going to say a statement, and if you think it's true, you say fact. If you don't think it's true, you say cap. I'm going to answer two because I have our Darren McFadden hat that is on sale right now, so not to push anything. Okay. So the statement is: it is more likely that you would beat a fan in a race than a fan stopping Darius Acuff from scoring.
You say it's likely that you would beat a fan in a race?
Yeah, it's more likely that you would beat a fan in a race than it is for a fan to stop Darius Acuff from scoring.
Oh, fact. That's a fact for sure.
Fact.
He's unstoppable right now. He's on a roll.
I'm saying that the statement is you would beat the fan before a fan. Like a fan is more likely to stop him from scoring than beating you in a race.
Oh, they're not beating me in a race, so that's a cap. That's cap.
But are they going to stop Darius though? They got to do one or the other.
They can stop Darius. They're not beating me.
Like I'm gonna go with fact because I've seen your times and I know how normal people are. And the fact is in this question, you can assault someone. So they might be able to punch Darius or go old school on him, and I think that would stop him from scoring, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can't really hit a woman. We're in Arkansas, so we're gonna assault Darius Acuff to stop him from scoring, and Sanu's gonna cook you in a race.
That's a fact. That's a fact right there.
Okay, next factor, Kat. Track is the best sport at the U of A.
Absolutely. Total fact.
Okay.
Triple fact.
I will go with fact too if we're gonna look at it from a perspective of success, because y'all have won the only national title this year as far as the track program entirely, but you have the most declarated athletes, right? Like, most fans don't know much about you, and it's like you were in the freaking Olympics, right? Like, you're a national name. And
but like, what school? But what other school in the SEC, ACC, Big 12, Big 10 do you know has won 53 national championships?
Because of track, we're like in the top 10 all time.
Yeah.
And there were schools that were winning national titles before everyone was allowed to go to school. So
exactly.
All right.
Sorry.
So now, Sanu, I've loved the time we've had. It is sadly time for rapid fire, where I'm going to ask you serious questions that you just say the first thing that comes to your head, and if you want to elaborate, sure, and then we'll kind of get you out of here. So rapid fire question number 1 today is your favorite running shoes.
Nikes.
Nikes. Are you only saying that because Arkansas signed with Nike? Because I was a Brooks guy.
So can I say it? I don't have to pick. I mean, I don't have to pick it, right? Nike.
Okay, so you're gonna go with Nike.
No, I'm gonna go with New Balances.
She's like, hey, Acuff signed with them,
I didn't even know that. I actually didn't.
No, I think he might have signed with Reebok.
Oh, okay,
I might be mistaken there, but yeah, New Balance. Mine was Brooks or the 361s.
Gotcha. I have a pair of Brooks that I actually run in right now, but New Balance. I've always run in New Balances when I was younger.
All right, your favorite track that you ran on?
It would have to be the 2024 Olympics. It was a purple track. That was like
LSU. I think they should get a purple track. I think that would compliment
I think
them.
so too. I think they should get like a purple and gold track. That would be so awesome. But my favorite track that I ran on was the one at the Olympics. It was purple and it was so pretty, and it was like so like bouncy and chill.
All right. Good job, Paris. Okay. Is there an event that you don't currently do but you would be great at?
High jump.
Okay.
I was actually good at high jump. Yeah.
All right. Okay, and then if you did a field event, what would the field event be?
Oh, dang, I just said a field event. Oh, can I switch my answer from before?
Yeah, well, I know you said a field event, but like, let's say if you had to do shot put, discus.
Oh, I would do javelin. I would javelin. Yeah, I would javelin.
Yeah. I think that's so cool. I can't throw it. Like, I could never figure it out because you gotta like keep your arms straight and go.
Yeah, I can't shot put for nothing because I go with the weight. So.
Well, I mean, cross country will do that to you too. Okay, now the most interesting one, and it's our last one. Can you describe your love life currently in track terms?
Oh. That's a good. Oh, you just put me on the spot there. I don't even know. Oh, shot put out of bound. I don't know.
You just suck at it. You can't throw it, so you're not even in the game at all.
Yeah, I'm not even participating at this point.
Not even participate. All right. So thank you so much for coming on the show. Can you please tell the audience how they can find you on social media and keep up with your continued success and the pro career you're going to have in the next Olympics?
Definitely. You can follow me on Instagram at Sanu Jallow-Lockhart or Sanu Jallow-03.
All right.
That's the best way to do it. Of course. Bye, guys.
All right. I got